brace right here, but I recovered pretty nicely.
Now that the net's gone, the next safety feature that has to go is the spring pads.
Being totally honest, removing these is an absolute nightmare. You have to crouch under the trampoline and manually remove like 30 bungee straps one by one. But if you miss any of them, the pads will not come off. But now that they're no longer connected to the frame, after undoing some Velcro, they come right off. So now this is all of the safety equipment that just came off, and this is what the trampoline looks like. Obviously, you know I had to take a break and do some flips on it. I mean, that is the whole reason I have trampolines in the first place. Now, you may be thinking, this trampoline has no net, no spring pads, and these rusty springs exposed. Isn't it sketchy enough?
Well, this is the world's smallest rectangle trampoline that I just so happen to own. Basically, the idea is to take this jumping mat and attach it to this huge trampoline frame.
There is obviously a very huge size difference, so I knew that I needed to be pretty creative if I wanted this to work.
Instead of trying to explain to you how I'm going to do this, I decided that I was just going to show you. You can go ahead and show them.
I call this the spider web technique. As you can see, it consists of connecting multiple springs together to create one larger spring, and it actually works pretty well.
So if I can just use this strategy on this trampoline, just at a larger scale, in theory, it should work. In theory. Okay, deconstruction time. Just take them all off.
Obviously, before we can even begin to build the world's sketchiest trampoline, we have to take the current jumping mat off. Once again, I just wanted to see how fast I could get all of the springs off, and oh my gosh, I must be a professional because look at that rhythm. It's almost like I do this all of the time, so if you like this type of content, just go ahead and subscribe. I'm getting so close to 100,000 subscribers, which has been my biggest goal ever since I was like 5. So just subscribe and I'll love you forever. Anyway, call me a wimp or whatever you want, but this was so much more exhausting than I expected.
I'm already exhausted. My wrist is hurting so bad. The last one. Boom. That had to have only taken like 1 minute.
Which was actually decently close to how long it ended up taking. The mat was super heavy to move since all of the springs were still attached to it, but once I got it all out, I realized that there were springs scattered everywhere. So we started picking them up and attaching them right back onto the frame that we just took them off of. I was really making sure not to lose any of the springs because we would need all of these if we were going to successfully pull off the spider web technique at this large of a scale. And I really just didn't want to have to buy new ones. I had this super cool idea to act like I'm jumping inside of the trampoline and doing a backflip, but now I realize that it just looks dumb. I brought in the new, much smaller mat and started to do some thinking on how this would even be possible.
Since this mat is so small, we did some counting and realized that we only needed 12 springs on the short sides and only 22 on the long sides. That leaves us with this huge pile of extra springs. Now it's time to actually start connecting all of these springs. Don't really know how this is going to go. Let's get an outline.